Chapter 1. The Myth of Motivation. 1. The Seduction of the Spark. Motivation is intoxicating. It arrives with a rush, a wave of energy that makes goals feel exciting and transformation seem imminent. You scroll through a powerful quote. You watch a 2-minute highlight reel of someone who made it. Your heart races. You tell yourself, "This is it. This time I'll change." And then it fades. By the next morning, the excitement is gone. The tasks feel heavy. Resistance returns. Netflix looks tempting again. That life-altering resolution you made just hours ago now feels burdensome, maybe even foolish. This is the myth of motivation, the illusion that change begins with feeling inspired, and that if we're not excited, we're not ready. But here's the truth. Motivation is a visitor. It is not a resident. 2. The difference between emotion and decision. Emotions are volatile. One moment they uplift you, the next they abandon you. If your discipline depends on emotion, it will rise and fall like the tides. The most successful people in any field, artists, athletes, entrepreneurs, soldiers, understand this deeply. They don't wait to feel good to act. They act until they feel aligned. Discipline is not emotional. It is decisional. The Roman philosopher Seneca wrote, "If one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable." In other words, without clear direction, no fleeting feeling will carry you forward. You must first choose who you are becoming, regardless of how you feel in the moment. 3. The cost of waiting to feel ready. Let's imagine 2 people. Person A starts only when they're inspired. They rely on enthusiasm to launch every habit. But enthusiasm doesn't last. It fluctuates with weather, sleep, social media, and mood. Person B builds rituals, not expectations. They show up whether they're inspired or not. Their progress is slower at first, but it is consistent. Their identity becomes tied not to feeling good, but to showing up. After a month, Person A has stopped and restarted 3 times. Person B has shown up 25 out of 30 days. After a year, Person B is unrecognizable, fit, focused, calm, powerful. Person A is in the same place, waiting for the right mood. Who do you want to be? 4. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the engine. You don't need motivation. You need motion. Discipline creates momentum. Momentum creates motivation. Not the other way around. Here's how it works. You act, even though you don't feel like it. You finish a small task. You feel a little accomplished. That emotional lift becomes motivation. You act again. This is the discipline momentum loop. Every action you take is a vote for the person you're becoming. Start with 1 small, repeatable act. 5 minutes of journaling. 10 push-ups. 1 cold shower. These are not random habits. These are rituals of becoming. 5. The neuroscience of starting your brain resists change because it prefers comfort. Comfort is predictable. Effort is dangerous to the ancient nervous system. But once you begin, even for 60 seconds, you activate the task-positive network, the brain region responsible for goal-directed behavior. Just starting triggers cognitive shift. Even when unmotivated, your brain rewards small completions with dopamine. This means that starting small and finishing often leads to internal motivation, from chemistry, not quotes. Forget inspiration. Trust initiation. The discipline audit. If you want to know how disciplined you are, audit your behavior on the days you don't feel like doing anything. That is your baseline. Ask, what do I do when no one is watching? What routines are immune to my mood? When I feel resistance, what is my default response? Awareness is the birthplace of discipline. 7. Building your anti-motivation protocol. Create a system for the days motivation disappears. 1. Micro-commitments. Reduce your task to the smallest possible unit. Not go to the gym, but put on gym shoes. 2. Environment priming. Set your tools out the night before. Make initiation easy. 3. Accountability. Text a friend your daily intention. 4. Anchoring rituals. Pair your desired behavior with something already automated, e.g., journal after brushing your teeth. Design makes discipline easier than resistance. 8. Overcoming common obstacles when discipline feels impossible. Even with the best intentions, discipline can feel out of reach. Life throws curveballs, stress, fatigue, unexpected events. Here's how to navigate these moments without giving up. 8.1. Recognize the difference between resistance and real limits. Sometimes procrastination masks deeper issues like burnout or anxiety. Ask yourself, am I resisting because of fear or discomfort? Or do I genuinely need rest and recovery? Listening to your body and mind prevents unnecessary self-judgment and supports sustainable discipline. 8.2. Adjust, don't abandon. If a routine feels overwhelming, scale it back rather than quitting entirely. Instead of work out for an hour, try walk for 5 minutes. This keeps the habit alive and the momentum flowing. 8.3. Reframe setbacks as data, not defeat. Every slip reveals important information about your triggers and habits. Reflect. What caused the lapse? How can I design my environment or routine differently? This mindset transforms failure into a stepping stone. 9. The role of self-compassion in discipline. Discipline isn't about harshness, it's about kindness coupled with commitment. Kristin Neff, a leading researcher on self-compassion, found that people who treat themselves with understanding and patience, especially when they fail, maintain motivation longer. Try this. When you miss a goal, instead of criticizing, say, "It's okay to struggle. I'm learning and growing." Combine this kindness with recommitting to your next step. This balance nurtures resilience and long-term discipline. 10. Real-life case study. Thomas Edison's relentless experimentation. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His decades-long pursuit of the light bulb is a masterclass in persistence and discipline. Edison's relentless trial and error exemplify how failure fuels learning, and how discipline means showing up even when results are distant. 11th philosophical quote. Aristotle on habit and excellence. Aristotle taught, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit." This ancient wisdom highlights that discipline is not a one-time heroic effort, but a continuous practice. Your daily habits sculpt your character and future. 12. The power of visualizing discipline in action. Visualization isn't just for motivation. It's a tool to strengthen discipline. Mental rehearsal primes your brain to expect success and reduces anxiety about difficult tasks. Try this exercise. Spend 5 minutes imagining yourself following through on your habit, feeling the process and outcome vividly. Notice the details, the environment, your posture, the sounds, and emotions. Repeat daily to build mental muscle for action. Research shows athletes and performers use visualization to enhance performance and consistency. 13. Creating your personal discipline. Manifesto. Writing a manifesto crystallizes your commitment and clarifies your principles. Include your why and core values. Your identity statements, e.g., "I am a disciplined learner." Your non-negotiable daily actions. Your plan for setbacks and renewal. Place it somewhere visible to remind yourself of your commitment daily. 14. The role of identity in motivation and discipline. One of the most profound insights in modern psychology is that motivation and discipline become far easier when your actions are tied to your identity, who you believe you are, rather than what you're trying to achieve temporarily. Think about it. When someone tells themselves, "I'm a runner," it changes how they behave. Suddenly, skipping a run feels like betraying that identity. Conversely, "I try to run sometimes" creates no such inner pressure. This idea is popularized by behavioral scientist James Clear in his book Atomic Habits, where he states, the most effective way to change your habits is to focus not on what you want to achieve, but on who you wish to become. Identity-based habits are powerful because they align your behaviors with your self-image. They reduce internal conflict. You don't force yourself. You choose yourself. They create a feedback loop where actions reinforce identity and vice versa. 14.1 Identity shifts. From trying to being, consider two people trying to adopt a meditation practice. Person A. I'm trying to meditate. They might skip days, rationalize, or feel guilty. Their identity is not yet a meditator. Person B. I'm a meditator. Even on tough days, they sit for a moment because that's what meditators do. The difference lies in internalizing the habit as part of their core identity. This internalization transforms fleeting motivation into long-term discipline. A study published in Health Psychology found that people who incorporated new behaviors into their identity were more likely to maintain those behaviors 6 months later. This explains why identity is such a strong anchor. 14.2. How to build an identity that supports discipline. 1. Define your core values. What matters most to you? Health, creativity, compassion. Clarifying your values gives your identity a foundation. 2. Create identity-based affirmations. Instead of, I want to write a book, say, I am a writer. Use these affirmations daily. Third act, as if. Behave in ways consistent with the identity you want to build. For example, if you want to be fit, schedule workouts like a professional athlete would. Fourth, track small wins. Each action you take is evidence of your new identity. Celebrate them to reinforce your belief. 15. The science of habit formation, building discipline. 1 step at a time. Habits are the building blocks of discipline. Neuroscience reveals how habits form and stick, explaining why small actions repeated consistently create lasting change. Q. Something triggers the behavior. Time of day, location, emotional state. Routine. The behavior itself, jogging, journaling, reading. Reward. The positive feeling or outcome reinforcing the habit, endorphins, pride. Understanding this habit loop lets you design habits that require less motivation and more automaticity. For example, if your cue is waking up, your routine might be stretching, and the reward is feeling energized. 15.1. Examples of tiny habits that build big discipline. Drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning, hydration plus cue. Writing 1 sentence before breakfast, progress plus routine. Doing 1 push-up after brushing your teeth, strength plus cue. Meditating for 1 minute.